All the Ways and Means meeting to order. Present are myself, Elaine Daly, Heidi Nightingale, Bob Shea, Tom Winslow, and Ben Vitale has been excused. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of January 21st?
So moved.
Second. All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. You'll see there are no appointments for tonight. And if we want to, we can start with the treasurer.
I don't want.
See if you have anything you want to add to your report.
I don't have anything I want to add. Does anybody have any questions?
The only question I had is kind of the similar question we had last month. At some point, you'll be able to give us an idea of the occupancy tax and the amount transferred to the tourism board?
Yes, but I think I answered that, and I'm looking at Fred when I say
Okay.
that. We had a meeting this last week about the cadence for how we're going to go about determining a lot of things as it relates to changes in the short-term rental.
Well, you're talking about the registry.
Yeah.
Is that going to,
Well, the registry, but it affects. You
okay,
want to jump in? It affects the sales tax and how we handle different things, and there's a lot of complications to it that we have to work out first before I can come up with the answers to your question.
We're still at the preliminary stage. The meeting was set for today at 2, I think, or 2:30, 2:00. I got called into court, so we're trying to postpone that till March something.
so the 5% tax, hotel tax, a portion of that goes to the tourism. And when this rental comes online, it will potentially mean more revenue coming.
Potentially mean more room tax and more sales tax. And
Okay,
again, the
both.
county keeps 5% of the room tax. The rest goes to tourism under the local law.
And they'll keep 5% of this, a short-term rental tax as well? It's
No,
the hotel,
the county will keep 5%. Okay, whatever's generated in the room tax
for administration,
for administration.
right? But there's a difference between a hotel tax and short-term rental tax. That's,
There's really not going to be much of a difference. They're
Okay.
just allowing the short-term rentals to be included in the room tax. That's an amendment to the old room tax, hotel tax.
and we count them now, but we're not sure we're capturing all of them, hence the registry. Maybe I'm all,
So you're not.
okay,
A couple years back, and I forget when, a couple of the entities like Verbo and Airbnb signed a contract with the county and other counties and voluntarily agreed to submit their portion of the room tax.
okay.
The amendments to the chapter amendment that is out there, the intent is to make that apply to everybody. So it would include the companies like Airbnb and Verbo, and also include the private. So I might have 1 or 2 houses that I
Okay,
apply to. So they're expanding the scope. So we have to amend our local law, and we're still not sure what the impact of the registry is going to be and who's going to maintain it. So we're working through that. But once it goes into effect, the room tax would be collected either by the individual or by the booking agent, if you will, submitted, and we will get our portion of that, and we'll also get our portion of the sales tax.
A couple of things. The Airbnb does a good job now at providing the tax information,
Mhm.
but the Verbo does not.
okay,
Okay, and to answer your question specifically about the money, we are up this last year, but the 5% that we make was only, even though we were way up, is only about $3,000 in money, in real money. So it's good that we're up, but it's not a lot of money because it's only 5%.
so if we were interested in how much money went to the tourism board or the tourism organization because of this, taking the 4% of the hotel tax, right?
Well, there's already a contract.
No, but how would we get that information?
How would we get?
We asked Karen?
Karen would have it.
Karen would provide that for you.
Okay.
And she's also part of obviously a big part of this because she's over at the Bureau. I think what you're getting at is if any changes are going to be made to change that number, I think you're going to have to legally do that and change the local law and work with tourism and Fred on that to do the legality if you want to change that. Right now, they're garnering all of that.
Right, and when we had the issue with the city of Auburn wanting a portion, remember
Right.
all that? I guess I was surprised at how much revenue was coming into the tourism board.
Well, in the last couple of years, it's gone up dramatically
Right,
with the increase in short-term rentals and so on.
yep,
So I think like in 1 year, it was over $200,000 more than it had been in the past.
right. It
So it's
was
gone up substantially.
over $1 million.
Yes, this last year, but for a long time, it wasn't nearly that.
Yep,
And it's really caught up. So now is the time to examine that if you want to.
yep.
And I defer to Fred on the legality of how they do that. But I think there's a way that you could probably negotiate that.
Yep.
But I leave that to Fred. But going back to the other thing is there's between Karen at the tourism office and Fred and the local law and the county and everything, there's a lot to that. So we have to work through that to get the machinations of it all correct before we can go forward.
Yep.
And we've had one meeting and I imagine we're going to have a couple more before we finally get it all ironed out.
I know Carrie sent some information to us or I think I got some information. We could opt out, but why would we? Because it would be much,
You wouldn't get
an
the-
increased sales,
Wouldn't get any of it.
right,
That, and then there was always a question about would we get any sales tax either?
right,
So that became a quick answer, no.
okay,
But we have to go through a lot to get there.
yeah. And your department or whoever absorbs this, it is work to
It is.
maintain this
to
registry.
maintain.
Yeah, it's a lot more work and
Yep.
so we're not thrilled about that, but if it's in the greater good to get the money, we have to do it.
Yep, okay,
Lastly, just, they're not easy to find out about who's got a short-term rental right now. You have to keep an eye on things and watch the advertising in the paper and so on, because they don't call in, they don't know to call in all the time to say, hey, I'm going to start a short-term rental and I understand I have to pay tax.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of miscommunication out there. And since we're so long and from Fairhaven to sorry? Summer Hill, and I was thinking Sempronius and New Hope and Summer Hill. There's a lot of
Yep.
territory there and people can decide, hey, let's rent out our place tomorrow and put it on this registry, and they do it and we don't find out about it right away.
Yep.
So we're always constantly trying to update that.
Yep. Okay, sorry,
Karen is doing a lot of that. She's working hard behind the scenes trying to figure it out. And we do it as well in our office.
okay, all right.
Sorry to defer everything to you, Fred.
It's fine. Your part.
Okay, is there any other questions for Dave? Not, oh, no, come on, Grace. Sorry. No, Grace.
Excited.
So you have my report in front of you. I have no resolutions, but I did want to highlight a couple of things on my report. I don't know if you remember several months ago, it was last year, we talked about how we had the retiree breakfast to try to get retirees to move from our health insurance over to Medicare Advantage because it would be a cost savings. We were finally able to quantify. So I just want to give a shout out to Courtney Haberlaw because she did a tremendous job. She met with individual retirees. I think she was meeting with several every day. And, after that breakfast, we had a lot of retirees saying no way they weren't going to change. She was able to educate and get 41 of them to move over to the Medicare Advantage. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but that 41, we were finally able to quantify the savings, and it's a $200,000 savings annual for the county for just our premiums. And, you hope that in the long run, we'll also save on claims as well, because they won't go through
Zealous?
Excelis. We won't have to pay, because we're self-insured, we won't have to pay those claims either. So that's, it's a substantial savings for us. So, we're hoping to do this breakfast
Yep.
annually, because even if we get a couple, it's worth the savings.
Sure. What did our health insurance go up this year? Was it,
I don't have that.
it was 18 or it was.
I don't have the percentage. It was substantial though.
How much?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also wanted to point out that, it wasn't just a cost savings to the county. The 41 retirees spread across all of them, obviously, but it was $100,000 savings to them as well. Because they were saving on their premiums as well. So,
Their contribution part.
yeah.
Yep.
So, it was a win-win for the county and for the retirees. The other thing I wanted to just point out, because I didn't send it out till this afternoon, was the sales tax report for February. I don't know if everybody saw the email, but for February, we're up 4% over last year at the same time. But I also did bring up the 24 performance. Our sales tax performance for 24 ended up being 270,000 under budget, which isn't good, but it's a lot better than what we projected. So we're kind of happy with that. And then just the only other number I just wanted to kind of throw out there, just because we do have it now, is the interest. We were over budget by 1.3 million. So,
Oh, that's good news, right?
so those numbers I can give you because they're not really going to change. But yeah, that's good news. So I don't know if anybody has any other questions, but
Any other questions for Grace? Thank you. Finally, good news.
We'll take that.
Yeah, right. Hi, Jenny.
So you have my report in front of you.
Yep.
I did note that our GIS conversion from ArcMap to ArcPro is continuing. I had brought this up in an earlier meeting back in the fall. Scott Thomas in our office, he has been doing this in-house rather than contracting out to do it. But just so you're aware, it is like they're doing double entry right now. So there is no disruption with our tax map online system. They're doing any changes in both programs until they're able to go live with the new program. So, you know, they're still continuing to get everything done and in a timely fashion, but it is
For your staff.
with my staff, correct? Yep. So it's just a little bit of an extra workload as they're going through this conversion, but they're keeping up. Are there any other questions with my report?
No, you have, oh, go ahead.
I just have one. I know it says you process the tax bills for the village of Weedsport. Are they the only village that you do that for?
So we do all the village tax bills. This is the only one that is not at the same schedule as all the other ones. All the other ones, the bills come out June 1st. Theirs come out March 1st. So they have a different fiscal year. So
Just because it's a village rule?
That's their fiscal year.
the village of Weedsport has a different fiscal year than all the other villages.
Figures. No,
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah, right.
so yes, theirs is just processed by themselves and they'll go out March 1st, those bills.
Thank you.
Are those, all three of these resolutions are yours, even one Breatonsett County Attorney?
They are all.
Okay, all right. If you want to go, we can get through Ways and Means One.
Okay, so this is authorizing a settlement of the matter of Wheat Street Housing Development Fund Corporation versus the assessor of the town of Aurelius, Board of Assessment Review for the town of Aurelius, the town of Aurelius, the village of Cayuga, and the execution of a stipulation in order of settlement. So essentially, our outside counsel that does these Article 7 assessment challenges is recommending that we approve it. I reviewed the valuation. It falls close to the range of where I would think it should be. Once this housing development corporation is up and they start running out, it's going to be based on an income approach that they'll be providing the assessor with that information. So it's not like a normal settlement where the value is frozen. It's basically lowered to this until they start running out the apartments.
Can I get a motion for WM one?
I'll move it.
thank you. Second.
Okay, pretty standard, like, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, these settlements are,
okay.
better to get them out of the way.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. WM two?
Is accepting jurisdictional abandonment and subsequent conveyance of certain lands by New York State Department of Transportation. So the village or the town of Brutus contacted me that they requested a portion of land that is adjacent to a property that they own that they plan on building a new municipal building. Be conveyed to them. Right now, the Department of Transportation owns this land. So a piece of it used to be owned by the county, So essentially it has to come back to us before we can,
I was wondering what the county involvement in this would have to be then.
yeah, basically because we used to own this piece, it has to be abandoned to us and then we can convey it to the town. There's another piece that the Department of Transportation is transferring directly to the town as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Can I get a motion for WM2?
Nightingale, move it.
Second?
A second.
Okay. You answered the question about what's the county's involvement, but okay.
Basically a pass-through.
Yep. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then WM3 is adopting resolution to extend the contract with Auctions International to provide real auction property services. So we did enter into a new agreement last year. It was a one-year contract with the option to extend annually for 4 additional years. So this would be the first extension of 4 possible extensions.
Motion in a second?
I'll move it. Second.
Okay. And these are all online auctions now?
Right, we're doing
Yes.
them online.
'Cause-
And with a current agreement, because we lost the ability to keep our surplus funds, this agreement at least gives us a portion of the buyer's premium. So Auctions International gets 6% and we get 4%. So it's not a lot of revenue, but at least it's something.
Yep.
We get to look at the agreement every year. It's not a bulk 4 years.
Correct. It's annually, I have to renew it.
Thank you.
Okay. I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great. Thank you. Okay, Diane, is there anything you want to add to your report or?
I don't have anything new. I'll just ask if anyone has any questions for me.
The job fair at Lemoyne is all sorts of positions or?
Yeah, so we went with a variety of positions that we currently have open, from our probation department to public health to finance, whatever we had available, we brought a whole list. We brought some job descriptions too, to explain like what a caseworker does, so we could meet with people at two and give it out and answer some questions. So we had a good number of students stop by our table and we had some good conversations with people.
Do you do that any other place than Lemoyne?
So we're also going to SUNY Oswego, and we'll be up there, I believe it's March 5th. So we've gone there. When Wells College was open, we had gone out there. So it really just depends on when the various job fairs are happening and close proximity, if we're able to have a couple of us go.
I know there's been talk by Jonathan about reaching out to law schools or,
Yep, I actually met with Fred about that. So I've been on the Cornell website, SU, University of Buffalo, to review their law schools, kind of look at when they have their job fairs, and in the midst of setting up various accounts with them so that we can start connecting with students.
oh, that's great. Because that's one of the biggest needs at this point.
Right.
Yeah. We were crazy with fiscal jobs, but that seems to be better.
It is a little better, yes. So,
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Diane? All right.
all right, thank you.
Yep. Last but not least.
I don't have anything to add to my report. I would just mention that I am going to conference on March 3rd. So it is a national conference. So if there are any specific things that any legislators would like to have me reach out to with the vendors there, to just let me know and I can set it up.
Okay. You're doing, I see quite a few RFPs.
Yeah, and there's still a couple more on there that aren't on there.
Any other question? Oh, Jonathan and Heidi first and then Jonathan. Heidi.
With the conference, are you going already with things in hand, department heads?
So, I have a full scholarship and I'm required to do 20 face-to-face interactions with vendors. So they're constantly scheduling the last couple of weeks, scheduling time with me for while I'm there. And I research each vendor that comes up and then I reach out to the department, specifically ask them if they're familiar with the vendor, what our need is, or if there is a need so that I'm prepared for the meeting. But, I didn't send a full list. It's thousands. So I didn't send a full list to departments.
Right, thank you.
I just wanted to congratulate Amanda. As she mentioned just earlier, this is on a scholarship. They applied for, was granted a scholarship. She's attending this conference in Vegas with no local share costs. It's all being paid for by the scholarship that she applied for. So congratulations on that.
Thanks.
But I just want to emphasize the fact that this was done through a scholarship, and it's something that I think we have opportunity to report other areas to look at training. There are scholarships available, and I commend Amanda for taking that.
Oh, no, that's great.
Good job.
Yeah.
You gamble?
What's that?
Gamble?
No, I get really mad if I lose like $20. I'm cheap. I'm so cheap. So yeah, no.
How long has it be gone?
It starts in the morning on the 4th and it goes to the afternoon of the 6th, but I'll be there from the 3rd to the 7th because of the travel time.
And you just saw an opportunity online or?
Well, I'm in a bunch of different procurement organizations that I register for. And so the Harvard Law School, I'm in an organization there and they brought that to my attention for this national conference. So then I checked to see what the qualifications were and applied for it and
That's wonderful.
got awarded.
Great.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
any other questions?
I don't think so.
Perfect.
You have something else? Oh,
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Everybody wants to go to Vegas.
Yeah, I've been known to adjourn the meeting, but I won't. Heidi, you go on to Health and Human Services?
Yes, Madam Chair, Health and Human Services had 7 resolutions. All of them were carried at committee. And I would like to bundle at first HH1, HH3, and HH5. Each of these are resolutions to enter into contracts that are quite typical for our departments and almost annual. The first is public health entering into contract with hearing officers to conduct administrative hearings for Cuba County Board of Health. And we actually spent about $2,000 last year in that contract. HH3 is entering into a contract with ABC Cayuga for services at PlaySpace. This allows scholarships for families involved in our health and our social service programs, so that children and families can take advantage of the opportunities for developmental play at PlaySpace. And HH5 is a contract to enter into with Cuga Centers for the provision of 3 respite beds.
Okay, can I get a motion for HH1, 3, and 5?
Can I ask to separate HH3
Certainly.
due to abstaining for having a relative employed at the play space?
Okay, so you want to separate 3?
Correct.
Okay, so can I get a motion for HH1 and HH5?
Move it.
Second?
Second.
The only thing I wondered, Heidi, is we had a lengthy conversation about HH5 in terms of the cost of those 3 reserved beds, the respite beds. I'm wondering if we could get some kind of periodic update on the utilization of those beds, because I think the total cost was like $344,000. So it would be interesting to make sure that, they're being utilized. 'Cause
I can definitely make sure we get those updates.
that would be great. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor for HH 1 and 5?
Aye.
And then separate HH 3 for the play space contract. Can I get a second?
I'll move 3.
I'll second. And then all in favor? Aye. Noted.
Abstain.
Yep. Tom Winslow abstaining. Yep.
HH2 is a resolution to accept funds in the amount of $23,286 from New York State for participation in the Article 6 State Aid Year 12 Performance Incentive Program activities
I'll move it.
by the Health Department.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
And also HH6 is another motion, a resolution to, oh wait, did we complete that?
Nope. I
Can
think
I move on?
we still need 4, 6, and 7, right?
Okay. HH4 was amended at committee to include specific time frame of through June 2025. These are to accept funds from the administration for the community living in the form of a grant to enhance adult protective services.
I'll move that.
A second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
HH6 also is a resolution to accept funds. This is from the New York State Office of Mental Health. And the funding is for court-based mental health navigators. So these will act as caseworkers, case managers, working with individuals in the community around court-related matters.
I'll move it. Can I get a second?
Nightingale?
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And finally, HH7 is an authorization to create and fill one full-time coordinator of substance use initiatives. This is a position, a grant-funded position that is now overseeing. It was what originally was pre-COVID, actually.
I think it was a project manager or that was the
Right.
title, something like that.
Community, so it was a very singularly focused project. As the program and project grew, many more grants were being administered by a particular position. When there was a resignation, the department head took the job description through civil service and the personnel committee to get approval for the change to coordinator of substance abuse initiatives.
I'll move HH7. Can I get a second?
A second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
I think I caught them all. Did I, Fred?
Yes, you did.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, government ops, I guess that's me. Authorize the execution of a contract with Robus Elections, Inc. for the purchase of e-poll books and amending the 2025 budget. This resolution was the only resolution on government ops, and it allows us to accept these unbudgeted funds and put them in an expense account, so the purchase of these e-poll books could be made.
Move it.
Second.
Second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, planning?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Planning has 8 resolutions, went through committee. PL3 was referred to the full legislator meeting to follow the presentation scheduled. So PL1 is authorizing the chair of the legislature to execute an agreement between the Community Science Institute and Cuyahoga County for implementing the Cuyahoga Lake HABs monitoring program. And PL2, I'd like to bundle these two, is authorizing the chair of the legislature to execute an agreement between Community Science Institute and Cuyahoga County to implement the Cuyahoga Lake Stream monitoring program.
I'll move.
Yeah, I'll move that bundle.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. PL 4 is authorizing the chair of the ledge to execute an agreement between Finger Lakes Institute and Cuba County for implementing the fiscal year 2025 Owasco Watershed Monitoring Program.
Can I get a motion for that?
Nightingale, move it.
And second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. PL 5, fixing day and notice of public hearing pursuant to New York General Municipal Law to make appropriations from the Emerson Park Pavilion repair reserve to complete repairs to the Emerson Park Pavilion.
I'll move PL 5. Could I get a second?
Nightingale, second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
PL 6, authorization of implementation of the parking fee policy for Cuba County Parks.
I'll move that.
I'll second. Any questions? This is what, the $5 fee, Bob, for
Yeah.
events?
Big events.
Events, yep.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, PL 7, authorizing the hiring of seasonal staff for the health department for the 2025 season.
I'll move that.
Nightingale, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Not least, authorization to enter into contract with True Green for vegetation control at Emerson Park.
I'll move it.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right. Judicial and public safety?
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. Judicial and Public Safety had a total of 10 resolutions. JP 3, that was pulled, and JP 6 was tabled to JPS for the March meeting. So I'll have a total of 8 to offer up. First off, I guess I would like to, JP 1, I would like to bundle JP 1, JP 2, JP 4 and 5. JP 1, authorizing the legislature to create 2 budgeted emergency services help positions in the 911 center. JP 2, authorization to fill one full-time vacant part-time emergency services dispatcher position. JP 4, authorization to fill 1 part-time account clerk typist in the coroner department. And JP 5, authorize the sheriff of Cuba County to fill seasonal part-time personnel positions for the Marine Patrol unit.
I'll move it.
I'll second. Kind of weirdly worded, right? 1 full-time, part-time?
Part-time position is, I guess, I don't know,
Yeah.
always there. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, I think it's just a typo, but yeah, it's a part-time emergency
That's
services
correct. It is
dispatcher.
part-time.
Yes, okay. We got a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Also, I'd like to offer up as a bundle JP 7, JP 8, and JP 9, all relating to vehicles with the sheriff's department. JP 7 for the purchase of 3 marked patrol vehicles. JP 8, the purchase and equip 1 unmarked patrol vehicle. And JP 9 for the purchase of 2 new vehicles to replace existing vehicles accumulating high mileage, which are in the custody division.
I'll move 7, 8, and 9.
I'll second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. And offer up JP 10, authorizing the chair of the Cuba County Legislature and the sheriff to enter into an agreement with Farnham Family Service to provide a credentialed alcoholism and substance abuse counselor to provide services in the Cuba County Jail.
Nightingale, move it.
I'll second.
I have one question for the sheriff. Is this from the account that you said you're worried about?
No.
Telephone account? No.
Budgeted separately.
Okay, okay. And remind me again about your telephone account, why you think it might be at risk?
So last year, the Federal Communications Commission voted to no longer allow municipalities to have commissions come from those phone calls.
Oh,
I'm hoping that gets overturned.
Okay.
I'm not sure that it will. So if it doesn't, we will no longer have that revenue from the phone calls at the jail.
And when you say commissions from it, you mean revenue you could keep? Is that what you mean by commissions?
Correct, commissions that we get to keep from the revenue, go to us to use for whatever we want to use.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thanks. I knew there was something there. I just couldn't quite figure it out. All right. All in favor of JP 10?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That is it for JPS.
Okay. There's no further business. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Second.
All right. Thank you.
I'll take a